So I've enjoyed David Bower's work in the past, but even in his hands, will this new Rugrats movie be good? Alright, so hey guys, Blood Moon Bobby here. So I believe during last year's Comic-Con, me and Gabby talked about the rumblings that Rugrats was getting a new movie as well as a reboot series, and we were both kind of on the idea, mainly because it was really hard to imagine. In the case of the movie, we heard that it was going to be a live action CG movie, and we presumed that the parents would be live action and the babies would be CGI, which I'll get into that. But we do have some new word about the upcoming Rugrats movie, and that is who's going to be directing it. And I will say, for as many doubts as I do have with this movie, as I scooch in a little, I will say I do like the director that they picked for the movie, and that is David Bowers, which his name might not sound very familiar, but you yourself might be familiar with some of his projects. Bowers co-directed Flushed Away, you know, that DreamWorks Aardman movie with the two rats played by Hugh Jackman and Kate Winslet. He also directed a movie version of Astro Boy, as well as 3 of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies. In fact, you could even see THR was one of the first outlets to report on that story, and it got picked up by others like Entertainment Weekly and Screen Rant. And even David Bowers, he put on his own Twitter that, you know, he's basically confirming that he is going to be directing the upcoming Rugrats movie. So how do I personally feel about this? There's really 2 ways to look at it, because on one hand, I do really like David Bower's work. I think he can do some really, really good comedy. I've seen Flushed Away, still makes me and my family laugh all the time. In fact, the other day, I was even thinking of the songs that were in Flushed Away. Like, there were some soundtrack songs, but I thought they fit really well. You know, songs like Ike and Tina Turner's Proud Mary, and Jets' Are You Gonna Be My Girl, and Billy Idol's Dancing With Myself. I mean, it's not a musical movie, you know, it's more as a slapstick comedy, but I thought that was really, really good. And also, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. Not everybody likes the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies, even Roderick Rules, but I remember seeing that movie with my dad and sister, and we actually really liked it. I mean, it was kind of crazy that the critics didn't like it, but I thought, at least for that particular sequel, it was a pretty decent movie. So I honestly think this is a case of you got a potentially good director, but we're still kind of on the project. I mean, I know you may have heard before, and especially for people who watch a lot of movies, that just because, like, even a good director can make a pretty bad movie. You know, I instantly think of, you know, Steven Spielberg and 1941 and Indiana Jones and The Temple of Doom, easily calling him one of my favorite directors. I mean, I really like Steven Spielberg movies, but just those 2 movies are just 2 really bad crap stains in my opinion. So the possibility, I think just because Bowers is on the project, it doesn't necessarily mean it'll be good. And in his case, who could blame him? It's really hard for me to imagine, you know, how could they, you know, make another Rugrats movie. I mean, I think it's possible to make at least an okay one, but in the direction they're going, where it's supposedly live action and CG, I think a lot of us are worried that they're going to do a thing where it's live action actors maybe playing the parents, and they're gonna use CGI to create the babies, you know, because especially with how eccentric the Rugrats designs are, you know, you could see behind me, just look at the designs of Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil. Not that they're bad designs, you know, the Rugrats characters are very creatively designed, as is the case with a lot of Klasky Csupo's characters. It's just that, you know, try imagining that in not just a CGI movie, but also, you know, a movie where they're supposed to be interacting with live actors. But as with a lot of movies that I'm very skeptical about, it's not that I hope this movie is bad. Like, I hope not, because if it's bad in the character design department, then that's going to be really uncomfortable to watch. You know, even come to think of it, I know I freaked out when I saw genie in, Will Smith playing the genie in that new Aladdin movie. I mean, yeah, he looks silly, but at the same time, he still kind of relatively looks like, human being, especially when he's in his blue genie form. I mean, it's all just coming to me now, all these examples of when they try to make animated characters into live action. I mean, I even kind of think of Detective Pikachu, but even then, that's a different case, because even though the character designs in the Detective Pikachu movie are really polarizing, at the same time, they're Pokemon, they're based off of animals. So at least on that front, you could understand doing things like making them furry and look super realistic. But in this case, with human characters with very cartoony designs, it's really, like a lot of you guys out there, and I think everybody's saying it, it's just really hard to imagine, even if you have a really good director at the helm, at the very best, I could see maybe Bowers is going to try and try and try. Maybe he'll come up with a design that's better than like if you just got a director off the street and say, hey, make a Rugrats movie and make us all that bling bling ka-ching, if that's even a word. But even then, I'm still really, really skeptical. I mean, THR said the movie's coming out on January 29th, 2021. By the way, in terms of who's going to be in the movie, Entertainment Weekly said that we can expect to see Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, and Angelica. I'm wondering, where are Dill and Kimmy? Unless this movie is taking place before the events of the Rugrats movie, I guess. But we'll have to wait and see. And I think that's just the best thing to take away from this, is we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, who knows? I mean, I do really want Hollywood to surprise me, because I honestly think that's their job, to be honest. I could predict things day in and day out, as well as many other people in the cartoon community. But I really feel like when, animators and directors in Hollywood really do something creative and surprise us, I think that's really pleasant. I think it really shows just how creative these kind of people are. So if David Bowers and his team can come up with something really creative, and I honestly don't know what to expect in terms of a Rugrats movie plot. I mean, I've seen all three of the prior Rugrats movies. The Rugrats movie, which that gets me to tears, to be really honest. Rugrats in Paris, which was kind of fun, and then Rugrats Go Wild, which I'm kind of about. I mean, those three particular examples had the Rugrats on like very eccentric adventures. Rugrats in Paris, the title speaks to itself. Rugrats Go Wild, they're stranded on an island and then they come across the wild thornberries. The Rugrats movie, the babies are stuck in a forest and that kind of stuff. So maybe, I mean, I guess technically they could go in that direction. It does sound exciting, but we don't really know, especially since, this is a movie coming out years after Rugrats has been off the air. They could do something more slice of life. I imagine they might try doing something more slice of life, just in terms of, hey, yes, we have to get the people who are fans of the original Rugrats shows and movies, but we'd also like to get a new audience. So maybe they're doing that too. And like I said, they are coming out with a reboot series of the Rugrats, so I'm very curious to see. I know somebody a while back sent me supposed designs. I don't remember. It was either supposedly for either the Rugrats the upcoming Rugrats movie or the TV series, but I wasn't sure if I could trust the source. So I think the only way of at least getting a taste of what this movie will look like is if we get a trailer for this movie. Will we get one at Comic-Con 2019? I don't know. I kind of doubt it. Maybe Comic-Con 2020, since that's closer to when the movie is coming out, but we'll have to wait and see. But please let me know what do you guys think of David Bowers directing this upcoming Rugrats movie? Do you think he can figure out some way to turn this into at least a decent movie? And just curious to see, because I am on DeviantArt and Tumblr. Yes, ha ha ha, Tumblr. But if you guys have any ideas, or if you know somebody that has tried to draw realistic looking Rugrats and did a semi-decent job, please let me know. Maybe leave them in the comments below. Like I said before, I'm kind of in the John Campea boat of, it's not that I hope these movies are bad, it's just that I really, really don't want to have a bad time in the movies. And in the case of the Rugrats movie, if the character designs are flawed, that could be potential nightmare fuel. But I'm remaining optimistic. I want to see what David Bowers can do. So that's all I got. So thank you guys for watching. This has been Blood Moon Bobby, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this Blood Moon Bobby video. Like and share the video if you enjoyed it, and feel free to leave a comment. Subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell to get notified when I release my latest videos. Follow me at Blood Moon Bobby on your favorite social media platforms to take part in polls, see my tech tips, and to hear about my video plans. Thanks for watching.